Hi, welcome back to MikiCarrBeauty. I'm Miki Carrico, and on my channel I love to talk about luxury skincare and beauty. And today I'll be doing a demo, two looks, and review of the new spring 2023 collection. I picked up these two pieces, the 68 Délices eyeshadow palette, this beautiful pastel palette here, and the Illuminating blush in the color Fantaisie de Chanel. So if you want to see me do two looks and then a quick review on what I think about this collection, then keep watching. But before we continue, please consider subscribing and liking below and commenting. And when you hit the subscribe button, please press all so you get notification of all my videos. And with that out of the way, let's begin. I ended up picking up this long-awaited spring 2023 collection. I didn't get all of the pieces because I am trying to be more mindful of my luxury beauty purchases this year, and really just thinking about which brands do I really want to purchase and then maybe even review. And there's plenty of other products that I purchase but don't actually review on my channel. It's been a while since I've done a video. I actually was working and out of town for a good week, and then I went on vacation. And when I was actually away, I was able to go to the Las Vegas Chanel stores, and I ended up going to two different ones because I was wanting to see if I could find this collection, and then also looking at small luxury goods of Chanel and purses and just checking those out. And that's for another video, and if you're interested, let me know because I will work on that. But I had worked with an essay that I've with Chanel for beauty that I've gotten products from before in Florida, and she said that they had them in stock but they were not allowed to sell them. I actually went to two Chanel boutiques, and they had their cosmetic line there, and they both said, yeah, we have them in the back but we can't show it to you, or we can't even sell it to you. And it was quite frustrating because I guess if you have to be really forward and asking them, oh, can I pre-order the collection, maybe they'll do it, but you have to have an existing relationship with probably a Chanel SA. So it was interesting when I was working and in person with the Chanel SAs, they were like, we have them in the back, we just can't sell them to you until April 1st. So I was able to pick these up, like a lot of us who are on stateside, April 1st, and I ended up getting these on the chanel.com website. I didn't go through the Chanel SA because I just thought it would be faster at this point, and it wasn't really offered to me when I reached out to Chanel SAs to pre-order. So I don't know, that's kind of something about customer service I look at, of if the Chanel SA is kind of, you know, going to accommodate and kind of meet us halfway. So I just kind of wanted to put that out there. So I just ended up going through the Chanel website, and this is what, and I'll put some video in here now. And what I did notice is that you do now get a choice of whether getting the products in a box or a cardboard packaging versus the new bags. And I actually chose to get bags because I just want to be less wasteful and don't want to consume as much. I notice when I'm buying these, you know, it's already having a cost with shipping and boxing and boxes. So I actually have a little bit more usage out of the bags. So you're seeing here the packaging, which is beautiful. It comes in a bag and it was secure. So the bag actually did come in a box, which is the shipping box. But inside I ended up getting the products, and then again, you always get to pick at least two samples. And then I got the Chanel Volume de Chanel mascara, which is the one I'm actually wearing in the videos. And then I was actually able to get the Coco Mademoiselle Chanel Paris, which I wanted to actually try this this perfume. So you can see here are some products, some swatches.
So here is the beautiful illuminating powder. It comes with a brush. The name of the blush is the Fantaisie de Chanel illuminating powder. As of the filming right now, it looks like it is sold out on the website. It is described as a pastel fuchsia. And here's the Le Quatre Ombre Délices limited edition multi-effect quadra eyeshadow. This is limited edition. It says it's created exclusively for the Délices Pastel de Chanel collection. This eyeshadow palette features four soft pastels inspired by Gabrielle Chanel's love for chiffon dresses and summer tweeds. The delicate and contrasting hues form a harmonious display of brilliance and depth for a dazzling, wide-awake gaze. Each is stamped with a double C monogram. And here's some outdoor shots of the products. It's a beautiful illuminating blush, natural lighting, and then you can see all of the swatches of the eyeshadow and then the blush together in outdoor lighting here. And here's look number one. I start with the bottom left shade, which is the deepest one in the entire quad. And I use that really just to build up the crease shade. And this is probably my second favorite shade in this entire quad, just because it has this beautiful kind of um, a little bit of reddish brownish color with a little bit of mauve. And then going in with the lilac purple color and using that all over my mobile lid and seeing how that can build up. And even these two together, you don't have to use all four shades. I think in hindsight, I could just stop with these two shades and be done with the look. This is a really beautiful color. It does remind me a bit of like sunsets in the summer or when you're on vacation. And then going into that peach shade, that was probably the most disappointing color for me. This hardly showed up on my skin tone. So you can see I quickly moved to going to that deeper shade that I started with just because I get more dimension just to connect the bottom with the top. And then going to the yellow shade and using that as an inner corner highlight as well. This did emphasize a little bit more texture, but I wasn't bothered by it because I didn't use a lot of that yellow shade all over my mobile lid. It was just a nice accent color. And then see, I'm trying to go into that shade again. It's just what it ended up being better is a topper or a base. So it added a little bit dimension on the inner mobile there of making that a little bit more of like a peachy lilac. And so it was more of a gradation, kind of like a sunset, if you will. I was really happy with this look. It was really a look that came together. The star of the show was really that purple, but with that crease shade, which is a little warm. It's beautiful. I also wanted to see what the eyeshadow could do if I built it up with the Intensifies Wand by Pat McGrath. And that always works best when you apply eyeshadow afterwards with the finger. And it definitely did better. I'm finishing the look with Volume de Chanel and then Sisley Mystic Purple as the liner. And then you're going to see me use then the illuminating blush and using the powder brush that it comes with. It says it's created exclusively for Délices Pastel de Chanel collection. This luminous blush is inspired by the softness and levity of summer. The marbled powder imparts a shimmering veil, revealing a fresh and radiant looking complexion, embossed with the double C monogram. It is beautiful. I'm super happy, as you can see in this first try of the blush.
On the Chanel website, on the blush for the illuminating blush, under composition, it reads designed using tie dye technology. The compact combines two shades, a rose gold and a radiant pink, and features a unique fabric like pattern and an easy to blend texture. And I definitely find that to be true. It's definitely smoothing. It didn't really emphasize my texture. I wanted to see if I could actually use it also as eyeshadow since it's part of the same color scheme and it's beautiful. It just amped up that more purple color to be more of a lilac, so like a purple pink, and I just love it. That gradation is just really beautiful. And then I finished the look with a Chanel Rouge Allure lipstick. I have a Demi Monde, which was released I think for spring of this year, and it's a beautiful pinky nude, and I think it goes really well with this look. And then I'm going to finish with the Chanel oversized Le Beiges bronzer in Sunbath Deep. It is definitely one of my favorite bronzers in my collection. It's not a flat matte bronzer. It definitely has some light shimmer in it, illuminating. It's kind of the collection that Chanel has with Le Beige. It's more of the sunny shimmer. And I'm using my Sonuji Inoshige brush, which I actually find to be really nice targeted blush or bronzer brush. I'm really feeling the look. It looks very summery, very spring. And here are some still shots with my iPhone 13 Pro Max, which actually shows a little bit more detail and color than my video camera. So I just wanted to show you some shots, which I think my phone actually has more true color than the video camera that I use. The eyeshadow retails for $70 and the blush retails for $80. At this time of the filming, the Chanel blush is currently sold out, but the quad is in stock. So here we are with the second look. I'm using my Chikuhodo squirrel hair brush. I just want to see if I can use that peach color, and you're getting a little bit closer shots so you can see better. And it is definitely a very light color. It barely shows up. In real life, it does show up as a nice, like a pinky peach beige base, but it definitely is a very light swath of color. I think if you maybe, actually, strangely enough, I think if you are deeper complected or just lighter than me, it might actually show up better. So I'm going in with that, again, that crease shade. It's kind of like that reddish brown color, and just using that all over, using a Sonia G brush, and then adding more depth and dimension to the look. And then going in with a Wayne Goss squirrel hair brush just to diffuse the edges. I use that a lot just because it just ends up having cleaner edges all around. And then I got this from Fenty Beauty. It was a part of a deal where they kind of unbundled brushes they had, and it's really, it doesn't have a name, but I just wanted to show you how pretty it is. It's actually a lilac pink color, but it's definitely a packing brush, and it works really beautiful. And so going into that purple shade in the mobile lid, and then going back into the deepest shade, and then to add dimension to the outer V as well. Just sometimes I like to go back in to create more of a depth of look with my lids, and then trying to put some of that purple color down, and then using that Lotus Series under eye pencil brush. I love this brush. I'm using that deeper shade again to build up some depth, and then using that flat liner brush from Sonia G Sky Series to add some depth to the top of my lid. It's such a soft pastel quad that you just have to have expectations. It's not going to be like Sonia G or Pat McGrath. So using that yellow shimmer shade, again, just where light will reflect in the center of my lid. And here's the finished look. I'm really happy with it. It looks very similar to the other one, but I think it looks a little bit lighter because I used that yellow shimmer shade in the middle of my eyes to make the eyes pop a little bit more. And here is a close-up. Definitely used some of that purple liner again. I think it's such a soft, pretty, ethereal look. It works really well for spring. And then here I am going again into the Fantaisie de Chanel Illuminating powder. I just can't get over how beautiful this powder is. I'm usually not that impressed all the time with products, but I can tell when I really love a product because I just love the fact that you can build this up. So it is something that you can use all over your face. For me, because I'm more tan and brown, that I can use it all over. It just feel like a nice illuminating powder. And then I'm using it in my décolleté just to see if it builds up. And it does. It's actually really, really pretty. So when I put it all over my face, I was definitely glowy throughout the entire day, which I did enjoy this look. And then I am doing a little bit of a cocktail with two lipsticks I got from the Spring Rouge Allure Chanel lipstick release earlier this year. I believe I picked up, I can't remember what two colors. I'll add it in later in the description box below. But one is more of a berry color, and then one is more muted, so it's more of like a pinky nude with a berry twist. And here's the final look with my hair down. I just use that bandana to get my hair out of my way when I'm doing my makeup. Okay, so I hope those demonstrations of the 2 different looks were helpful. I actually tried to do 3, but I completed 2. With the second look, I started off using the peachy pink shade just to see what it would look like if actually that peachy shade would show up on my skin tone, because I'm a medium tan. And you can see that it barely shows up, but if you wanted a light swath of color that was on the peachy pink side, you could do it. I think that would be really pretty, but I'm not surprised it didn't that it wasn't super pigmented, unlike something like a Natasha Denona or Pat McGrath. I just expect that going in, that all looks, no matter what the color story, are going to be pretty light and ethereal, and that's pretty true with this collection. It is. So I'll go into my final thoughts now. I think it is a very beautiful collection. I wasn't actually expecting to get this Chanel collection at all. So some of you might watch in Will I Buy It? Yes, no, or maybe, or meh. I was on the fence initially about it because I think I was really feeling that the Chanel colors, the pastels, were too light, that would not show up on my skin tone. So what I can say about this eyeshadow quint is that they already give you the warning that it's pastels. Is it like a Pat McGrath pastel? Definitely not. I know Pat McGrath has done kind of starting to do pastels, and it definitely reminded me of the Fleur Fantasia quint, and I'll show this here. So when I saw this quad, I definitely thought about this. Like, the vibes are definitely similar, if you can see. I don't want to say it's a dupe, but I'll do some swatches. And I know I love this quint so much. And I actually did a look of this quint about a week ago, and I'll put a picture up here of what that look ended up looking like. And this is just, I was not a person who thought I could do pastels, and Mama Pat changed my mind with this Fleur Fantasia quad. And this is definitely one of my favorite quads just because it's out of my comfort zone, and it made me realize that I could do pastels as a brown skin person. So that is the look I came up with, and it's a lot different than the one I have here. And so let me do some comparison swatches for you really quick. And as you can see, the embossing is pretty much all gone at this point. And that is what it looks like. It's very light. It's very much kind of like, I really expect that's kind of what Chanel is. It's not going to be like hugely impactful, because you can see even I'm having to go in twice with the last 2 shades, the purple and the pink, because those are shades that are really hard for to show up on tan skin. Excuse me. So if there was a weak shade out of the bunch, it's definitely this peachy pink. And that's why I went in on the kind of like the third 2.5 look, whatever. I just wanted you to, that's why I went in with that second look starting with this. I wanted you to see what that would look like, and it barely shows up. So for me, it just ends up kind of being a base color. What the Pat McGrath looks like, which, as some of you know, is already going to be pigmented, because that's really what her brand is about. And just being incredibly awesome. And so that is Fleur Fantasia, and you can see she has a peachy pink color here. Where am I going to put this? Let me take my watch off. So this is Fleur Fantasia. And it's definitely more pigmented. It's definitely kind of, the vibes are definitely very similar. I would say the Fleur Fantasia look is definitely more kind of shimmery, especially when you combine these two. The peach shade compared to this Chanel peach shade definitely shows up. I've loved this color. I mean, Pat McGrath knows her colors. I mean, that's the thing. Being a woman of color, a black woman, she's gonna know and make sure generally that the colors that she puts in her cosmetics are going to show up for deeper skin beauties. So you can see that's a lot more pigmented than this peach. So just kind of know that going in. I think if you're deeper complected than me, this might be a challenging quad for you. And also, if you have this quad already, I would say don't have FOMO. I would say don't have FOMO if you're missing out. Like, the vibe that you get from this Délices palette is similar to this. It's not the same. I think it's more delicate and more purple, if you can see. I do like it. It's definitely a different look, but the vibe is similar, if that helps. But if you're a diehard Chanel makeup lover, or you just love purples like me, I ended up getting it because of both. I just love Chanel makeup products and I love purple, so I automatically, for me, I'm gonna get them. So if this comes back in stock, I don't think you necessarily need this, but if you are a Chanel fan, I would say go for it. If you are someone who loves purples and pastels, this will be definitely worth it to get. I, tried to do some really pretty looks, and I could definitely see using this more on like a daily basis, whereas this one is definitely more va-va-voom. I don't know if I'd feel comfortable using this to work. That's just me because I have a more kind of conservative work environment, but definitely this quad I could definitely see using every day and using it even at work. I thought this would be perfect for spring. We're past Easter already. Just the whole vibe, it just kept on reminding me of spring and Easter. I'm wearing lilac now. I can see flowers blooming. I have this tree, 2 trees that bloom outside of my office, and it's just beautiful. It definitely has the spring vibe. So moving on to the Fantaisie de Chanel, the illuminating blush. And this is by far the star of the entire collection. I can see people going nuts over this, and about 2 years ago I ended up getting the equivalent release of what they have for Chanel every spring, which is the chains. When they did the chain collection, it was like a rose gold one was illuminating shimmer highlight blush. I ended up getting that 2 years ago, and I thought I would love it being a medium tan person. For me, it was just too deep, that it was too shimmery, and maybe I used it wrong at the time. I ended up selling it. It just wasn't for me. I just found myself not using it because I liked either using it as a highlight or a blush, and it was just too rosy gold for my preference. I was not going to get this at first, and I said, wow, everyone's going nuts about this illuminating powder. Let me try it, giving it a chance again and seeing what I can use this for. I had serious doubts this was going to actually show up on my medium tan skin, and then I said, you know what, even then I can always, flip and use this as a shimmer highlighter. And this was the one that surprised me. It is gorgeous. So you can see that tie-dye technology, they're saying no two are the same. So I'm tilting it so you can see more of the pinky blush shade with the shimmer and the pink. But if I put it dead on straight, if I put this straight onto the light, it just blows it out, and that actually is what it looks like. It's just super shimmery. There, you can definitely see more of the tweed and then the embossing on this. So I've used this as many times as the quad, and the embossing is still there, but I can say for sure this is my favorite out of the collection. Now, I didn't get any of the lipsticks because I am jam-packed with Chanel lipsticks. Way too many. I ended up getting some from the fall release of the Rouge Allure and then spring with this year. So no more Chanel lipsticks. I actually just have Chanel lipsticks on my lips right now. I just combined 2 colors, Emblematique and Intemporal, and then combined it to have more of a pink color. So this is like naturally a berry color, and I went really light on it. And then this is something I would generally do with my lipsticks. I like to cocktail them because that's what color theory is. You don't have to just use what's on there. And then I took Intemporal, which is yeah, number 60 Intemporal Rouge Allure, and then it's like a lighter a base kind of nudie pink, and then just lightened it up, and it's made it like a light pink with a berry twist on there. So I definitely did not need to buy a lipstick out of this collection. They had the Rouge Allure Rouge Allure ink, which is a matte, like a liquid lipstick. I'm not into matte lipsticks because, especially if they're liquid, they tend to dry out my lips. And then the balm, I actually saw in store when I visited the Chanel Essays in Las Vegas, and they did have that on the floor already, but they weren't selling it. It was really bizarre, and one was actually showing me she had it on her lips, and it looked dry as heck. It did not look cute. So for me, I knew those really overpriced balms were not gonna be for me because I just have natural pigment. I need color to either like commit or not be there at all. So I didn't get any of the lip products. The one that's been dancing in and out of my cart is definitely the Balm Essentials in Lilas and the Draghi, I think. I saw Cherie Voyage's YouTube review, and she was over the moon about those Balm Essentials. Now, I am not a person who generally likes balm highlights. I actually had a Pat McGrath one, but the only reason I don't use it is that it has like this really strong vanilla smell. But I do like that as a product. But I figured that if I was gonna get this, that it was going to do a 2-for-1, and I was right, at least for what my tastes are. So full disclosure, I actually started doing this video and review, and I actually took almost like a 2-hour nap. And this shows like you, other than blotting powder, because my face gets oily, I haven't touched up my makeup. I actually didn't set it or put setting powder at all. But I did have a little oil, so I just used like blotting powders. I just use blotting powders to get rid of the oil. But look at the makeup, definitely stayed. I'm going to show you this makeup. Like, I'm going to put it on now for you, just so you can see how gorgeous this blush is. And it reminds me a bit of like an amped up version of the Suqqu melting powder blushes with more illumination. This is so pretty. I think if you use this illuminating blush, it's basically a blush and a highlighter in one. And I kind of wish that Chanel did more of these. And if they do, let me know. I might be mistaken. I think this more of like once a year they do something special, which is like this. That's why I got the one 2 years ago that didn't work for me. But this is beautiful. I can see myself going to use this all year, and for this, or at least all summer and spring, and then just really using this to transition it even later as like a highlight up here. I am actually seriously thinking about getting a backup, but we'll see. Like, we'll see how much I dig into this. I think my talents, if I start to if I start to take off the embossing of this, I think I will consider getting another as a backup. I just try not to get backup of makeup because you never know. I just don't want to be wasteful that way. So what I did for the second time, which you might have caught in the review, is that I actually try to put it other places on my face. So I put some here, and I'm showing you for the sake of just telling you, and then I put some here just to see what that would look like, and I put some across my face just for a light illumination, which is very, like, it's super like not detectable, but it's ever so slight. But here it's like this soft, like, you can kind of see it actually. It's like this really light illumination. People have asked me, will this show up on them? And I don't know, like some people email or DM me messages, and I don't know them if they're not on Instagram, or if we don't have a relationship, or they haven't showed me their skin tone. If they say if they're similar to me, I will say definitely it shows up. So that is what it looks like. The reason I didn't like the Chains illuminating blush is that I felt with that color, with that formula and that color, I don't know if it's the same formula, it actually showed texture, whereas this one really doesn't show texture. And I have aging skin and texture and acne here. This is actually where most of my pores are, you'll see, but it doesn't emphasize texture, which is a huge deal for me. I don't know if this is a baked gelée formula or not, but this definitely surprised me. This is definitely made in Italy, and this is made in Italy as well. So maybe it has to do with something with the production and the color. So let me do a really quick swatch of this. And my nail polish definitely matches this collection. I was really excited to do that. So this is what it looks like. I'm gonna do another swatch. Super pretty. And something I also did at the end of the first look is actually use some of this and put it up here and just tapped it in. And one can certainly do that. Actually, let me tap some in. If you want some more of a contrast here, what happens, it turns the purple to more of like a lilac. So you can definitely use it on the eyes. So it's multi-purpose for sure. I grabbed this Suqqu Tomoshibi quad because I thought this would be like, I sometimes use these shimmer shades that they have, the topper shades, as highlighters too. So it's very similar. It's definitely more body to this one. And a deeper, this is more like light and illuminating. This is kind of like more got a pink underbase or salmon. It also reminds me of two other products. The YSL Touche Éclat 3D All Over Glow. This, I think this is meant to be like a glow illuminator, but because I have deeper skin, this is like better for me as a highlight. So I know the people with fairer skin who use this all over, but it's not the same color, but it's kind of a similar concept. This is such a lovely highlighter on my skin. I need to keep that out actually, because this is such a great product. It doesn't also, this YSL also does not emphasize texture. And then the last product I pulled was this new Suqqu number 105 Shiro Zoro, which was also limited edition, but some of you might have it. It's this kind of lilac, beautiful highlighter. It's definitely, you can see that pop of lilac here. I'll put it over here. Definitely more shimmer, and that's also why I did not get the Balm Essential. I'm not a big sticky balm highlighter person, and I already have this, so I need to use what I have. So I'm glad I pulled those out as like a reminder of what I have in my collection. Okay, so would I recommend this? For sure. Actually, out of the two products from this collection, I would say if you're kind of like, this is way out of my budget, I just can only afford one, I would say get the Fantaisie de Chanel highlighting blush. This is really the standout. This is the one that most people are going really gaga over, and I can see why. This is definitely going to be on my top shelf all spring and summer. This I can dupe. I don't think you need this one, but moreover, I love it. I love purples and Chanel, but I don't know if everyone loves purples. Not all of you love pastels. And also, I think if you're a deeper skin beauty, this may or may not really show up on you. So that, I love it. I don't have regrets buying it. I would buy it again. But for sure, I would say do not sleep on this blush. If it comes back in stock, follow me on Instagram, MikiCarrBeauty, and then also make sure you're subscribed to my channel, because when it goes live again on sale at Chanel, I will put it on my community tab and let you know, and put my link so you can check it out. Also, if you want, just DM me and I can share the sales associates that I've gone through for purchasing, and maybe you can already just say, hey, I want to pre-order, I'm going to put money down and I want to buy it, so when it comes back in stock, just go ahead and charge my card, and they may or may not do that for you depending on that sales associate and that person's policy, or that location's policy. I think that's it for my review, and if you enjoy this content, then please consider subscribing below. Click all. A lot of you, I notice, are watching my videos but you're not actually subscribed, so it helps out with engagement and numbers on my channel, so please consider subscribing now and then commenting, liking below. So go ahead and subscribe. Really happy with this Chanel spring collection. There was no other spring releases. This is the one that I was most interested in, along with Suqqu, and not everyone can get Suqqu, so I also hesitate with that. Like Chanel, you can get on a website or go to the essays here, but Suqqu I know some of you like, but some of you just don't even bother with Suqqu because you're not wanting to pay like any import fees or deal with the fact that you have to buy it in Asia or abroad in the UK. So I totally understand that. And then I'm planning on getting the actual summer 2023 Suqqu collection. So stay tuned if you want to watch more about makeup releases for the summer. And as always, please be very kind to yourself and others, and just be you. Until next time, beauty fam, take good care. Bye.